All right. Good evening and good night, and welcome to the It's Your Perspective Talk Show. It's Wednesday, April 22nd, 2015. My name is David, a.k.a. Kimba, a.k.a. Christian, alongside
Bingy Soup.
Yeah, Soup. We back again. This is
right.
the It's Your Perspective Talk Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, man. Weekly at 8 p.m. Give us a call. We do have a telephone number, 340-201-9005. You can also text us on that number too as well. Most importantly, you have to go to our website, streaming live from the VI.com. Go to that website and click on Watch Us Live. And guess what, Soup? They'll see us live, man. We do have a special guest in the studio tonight. There they are, Kim Jerome and Alexis George. There they are right there. Alexis has been on our show before, and this is Kim's first time. But we'll be right back with them. We got to run through a few things right here. You guys know that we are in the high-tech, low-tech studio, coming to you from undisclosed location, St. Croix, Virgin Islands. No radio, no TV, internet only. Okay, we don't have what we don't have. You can't catch us on the radio, you can't catch us on the TV. You got to go to our website, streaming live from the VI.com. That's how you get a hold of us. Check out all our recorded live shows on YouTube and Ustream. Over 160 now, Soup.
Yes, sir.
We're blazing it up, you know.
Yeah, that.
2 Facebook pages, It's Your Perspective Talk Show and streaming live from the VI.com. Special shout outs to our CHS class of 1982. That's the class that we're representing. Shout outs to Vanessa, I-Grade Records and Rhythms, Julie and Sharice King, and all our past guests. Thank you for coming on the show. We're on Twitter as well. VI Perspective is how you get a hold of us. Tweet with us, and we're moving straight forward and up. The show's mission is just to inform, entertain, and empower everyone. And Soup, you ready?
Yes, I.
Soup always blesses us with the It's Your Perspective poem, man.
Greetings. Kidamawi in Paris last side the first lives. Rastafari. The greatest secret in life is that reality is nothing more than illusion. The physical world does not exist outside of our own belief system and the filter of our own mind. We are, in fact, subparticles of Jah, experiencing creation itself. But as subparticles of Jah, we have swayed over these creation. Everything you have experienced in life, every event, occurrence, object, and person, is nothing more than a figment of your own thoughts, beliefs, and words. The problem is, most of us are still asleep. The problem is, most of us are still asleep. When you understand this, your entire world shifts and you come to realize the true meaning of life is thus, like a lucid dream. We have total control.
Yes, I Soup, that is It's Your Perspective poem. And it's funny we say poem. For Kim, he's been blessing us with that poem well over a year now. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, some Fridays, some Saturdays, and even some Sundays. And as we talk about the It's Your Perspective poem, Kim is here to talk about poetry. Thank you for coming out to our studio tonight. I know you have a very important event tomorrow night.
Yes, I.
Yes, and thank you for having me.
Sure, we just want to, just want to talk about it. I do know that some months back you had I guess your first event at 2+2 there, and that, from what I gathered from the comments on Facebook afterward, was just a total success. If you weren't there, you were just you weren't there, and so you're doing another one, and tell us all about it. I know it's tomorrow night and where it's at and all this other stuff.
Absolutely. Well, the event that I'm going to be hosting tomorrow evening is called OUTSPOKEN, a spoken word event. And it is a platform for artistic expression here on St. Croix, and hopefully it will spread to the Virgin Islands.
Right.
It is the concept is a fusion of poetry, live jazz music, and art. And so we have jazz musicians that are going to be participating. We have 2 artists that are going to be creating original pieces during the show, a sketch artist as well as an acrylic artist. Mm-hmm. And those art pieces, original works of art, will be raffled off as well. Okay. So the audience always enjoys that.
Yes.
As well as a few surprises for the audience. I always try to give them a little something extra and a little something different each time.
Right.
And so we're excited. We've been rehearsing for several weeks now. and it features featured artists and poets, as well as 2 open mic segments. And that's always a surprise piece as well, because you never know what's going to come from the audience.
Yes.
And so I invite everyone to come out and check it out tomorrow, April 23rd, at Martini's in Christiansted Town. We have a cocktail hour, so come early. It's 6 to 7 p.m. And the show will start with or without you right at sharp 7 o'clock sharp.
Okay. So what you're saying is it's not cruising time.
It will not be running on cruising time, no sir.
Okay.
Are you a poet too, Kim?
Well, I think we are all poets, and I think we are all artists.
Yes,
And so that being said, yes, I think I would class myself as a poet. I think poetry is expression.
Okay.
And I've been writing. I was exposed to poetry in middle school, and I remember it being very, very private. And I if I could share one experience, I remember having a journal full of poetry, and my mother finding it. And I was mortified. I grabbed it out of her hands, and I ran, and I started ripping the pages up because I felt so violated.
Yes,
the poetry was so personal and intimate that I didn't want to share it. However, as I experience poetry more and more, what I find is that the sharing of it and the expression of those words actually is freedom.
Right.
It's very, very powerful. It's very uplifting. And I wanted to create a platform for fellow poets as well as other artists to be able to come together and just express and let that creative energy flow through them. And so that's what Outspoken is. And I think that it is an event that, like you said, the first 2 had really, really good buzz about it and feedback. And actually, April is National Poetry Month.
Okay.
Yes, I did notice that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. And the reason that we're hosting Outspoken this month, in addition to it being National Poetry Month, is because of the feedback of individuals who participated in the past and who may have just came and watched the performances. I've been stopped countless times and asked, when is the next Outspoken going to be held? And so this is actually being pushed by artists in the community.
Right.
So it's going to be a really, really interesting event, and it's going to be a good time.
Okay. Alexis, are you a poet too, or you participating in the Outspoken word?
Yeah, man. As Kim said just now, that we are all poets.
Yes,
It's interesting because sometimes we find ourselves in various types of situations, and your heart just pours out these feelings, and these feelings come out in words.
Yes,
you know what I mean. And a lot of the times, you never know that you can do that. You know what I mean? But it's done.
Right.
So yeah, everybody have those moments when we call them poetic moments.
Right.
Definitely.
Definitely.
We do have those.
Yes.
I mean, that's a part of who we are.
Right.
As people of a certain vibration, we no matter what it is, everything is poetry.
Okay.
People who are dancers, people who are musicians.
Yes.
It's all poetry. The lyrics of a song. It's poetry, and it's an outlet for a deeper expression of oneself. So, yeah, I'm a poet.
Yeah, I remember, going to poetry slams a long time ago. I lived in Maryland, and it was a big thing back, in the 80s and the 90s. Lots of people go. I remember, they did this thing with the finger popping. I don't know. Do they do that here?
We do.
Okay.
And the sound. Do the sound. The sound that the ladies do.
Yeah, African.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know how to do that, Kim? Okay.
Well, what I usually share with the audience is that because we are expressing ourselves. There are no rules when it comes to poetry.
Yes.
Okay.
And so all the rules of language and English and you know, where does diction go and fall into and punctuation and all that goes out the window with poetry. You can be creative, you can be expressive, there are no rules.
Right.
But that being said, we do have a little bit of a poetic culture, and so if the feeling moves you, you certainly can clap, you can shout, you can jump up and down. But we snap and we keep it nice and sultry for the evening. That's why we like the element of live music, live jazz, and it's just a great night of adult vibration.
Right.
You know, it really is.
So you were talking about your poetry. So you wrote some poems early on, right? And then so I guess were you in high school when this all came about?
No, I was in middle school.
Middle school, okay.
I was in middle school. I was very, very young. But I've been writing ever since. I published a book of poetry when I was in college called It's About Us, Unified Souls, a collection of poetry.
Okay,
With a young lady named Rhonda Johns. And so writing, as Alexa said, is expression. And it also is, I feel, the creator moving through us. So sometimes I find myself in a car and I am just sort of speaking out, and what comes out is poetry, what comes out is song.
Okay.
And it's artistic expression, the same as, like you said, an artist or a musician playing an instrument. You know, sometimes that music just flows, and so that's the same thing with words and vibrations. It comes from a deeper place.
Okay.
And I think that we're just vessels for that.
Okay.
And Outspoken has just become a platform
Right.
for that. So
the event is called Outspoken.
the event and the movement is called Outspoken.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What made you decided that the Synchro needed an outspoken moment to happen?
Well, I moved back home about 5 years ago, and I remember that when I did, there was a group of poets that were having these poetry sessions, and the young lady who was coordinating it moved off island about a year afterwards. And for maybe 2 years, I kept saying, you know, I really want that back. You know, we really
Right.
need that outlet. And it dawned on me, you know, well, I could create that platform. I could create that.
Yes.
And Outspoken came from the irony of my personality. I think that I'm quietly outspoken. And so I'm quietly outspoken.
Okay.
And so, you know, for individuals that do not know me, they would probably be surprised by some of my poetry. They would be surprised at some of my opinions and some of my beliefs, because I am quietly outspoken. And so, and we have a vision for it as
Right.
well. One of the things you mentioned, poetry slams. I'm hoping that as Outspoken gains momentum, that we can put on a poetry slam, which is a more of a competitive
Yes.
atmosphere, as opposed to just the performance and the sharing. And then also, I want an educational piece involved. So I am hoping for Outspoken to evolve into poetry clinics where fellow poets, we can come and we can share and hone our talents and skills and talk about publishing and things like that, and how we can move the art forward, and also introducing it to school-age kids as well. And so there is a vision for this platform, and we're hoping that Outspoken continues to grow. So it is a movement, as I said.
Okay.
How is you know, as far as, you know, poets here? I mean, is it huge numbers, or is it you know, you got any sense of that? I mean, you have a big following.
I have a bigger following than I realized.
Okay.
Than I realized. The first Outspoken came about around my birthday. I was wondering, you know, what do I want to do to celebrate? And I thought, I want to surround myself with all of the things that I love, and that includes music, especially jazz and art and poetry. and so that's how Outspoken was born in a sense.
Right.
And I decided this about 2 weeks prior to my birthday. And I will tell you that in 2 weeks I put out a call for poets. I had 15 featured artists, and they have been rolling with me ever since. And then in addition to those 15 featured artists, we had probably a total of maybe 20 different individuals from the audience participate in our open mic segment.
Okay.
And that was with no publicity,
Wow, right, yes.
And so I believe that we are an incredibly artistic community. There's amazing talent here,
Yes.
and amazing talent that can stand next to any talent I find that you could find on the mainland or
Yes.
even internationally.
Right.
You see that in music, you see that in sports, and you see it in art as well.
Right, right.
And so, again, I think they just need platforms. We have probably hundreds of artists here, and they need a platform to come together. And I'm
Right.
hoping that Outspoken can become that for different types of artists. I'm looking for different painters and sculptors and dancers, and again, trying to create that fusion of art as well. So.
Okay. Yeah, and the event she's talking about is tomorrow night, April 23rd, Martinis in Christiansted, downtown Christiansted. For our viewers worldwide, that is in St. Croix, Virgin Islands,
Yes.
in Christiansted town on the back street. Martinis, 23rd, tomorrow. $10 tickets, more at the door. So you're doing poetry now, and you're writing poetry. So you got a couple or several black books, I would imagine, where you just write things down, or you just have this stuff in your head.
A little bit of both.
Okay. Because sometimes these things can kind of hit you at night, and you just roll over and you just make some notes, and then you kind of tidy it up the next morning. And so you're doing the poetry, and there's a big following.
Yes. And I think it'll continue to grow.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I believe that there's a big following, and there's a growing following.
It's growing.
I
Okay.
think it'll continue to grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. You mentioned also too the National Poetry Month. You guys, is this event being held this month because of that? Is there any
Absolutely.
connection?
Yes.
So with that,
in commemoration of National Poetry Month, which is the month of April, we're hosting Outspoken for National Poetry Month in schools and cities across the nation. They're actually holding Poetry Out Loud, which is a national poetry competition, as well as if you check out National Poetry Month events online, you'll see that there's a myriad of events all over the nation for the month of April. So we wanted Outspoken to coincide with that.
okay. Is that some type of like a club or an association? I mean, if I don't know. I'm just kind of asking in a sense. I mean, is it like a national poetry club, and you guys, because we're from the Virgin Islands, we're a part of that?
No.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge. Not
Okay.
to my knowledge. But that would be an amazing thing to try to create and to tap into. Because
really? Okay.
when you talk about poetry clinics and sharing knowledge and information, to be able to connect with the individuals who are published, who do perform and who travel doing these performances, would be an amazing opportunity. And so that sparked some interest. I may have to do some research on that, Dave.
Yeah, it was just as it's National Poetry Month, maybe there's some kind of bigger organization.
I'll have to look into that.
And maybe you can just make this will be the start here, and everybody else will have to join us.
That would be amazing.
So
That would be amazing.
and so the thing with poetry is that part of it too is as you say, like I've been to many poetry events over the years, but I'm not one to get on the stage and say anything. But I understand what you say when this vibe flows through you and it comes out in words and actions. It's powerful. I mean, when you see it. And I would imagine that this is going to be very similar to that. That's good.
So, Kim, let me ask you: you got 15 featured artists, but how many people scheduled to perform that night? Do you know?
So I have for this event, I have 5 featured artists.
Uh-huh.
Lots of surprises.
Okay.
as far as different poems and then I have the open mic segment. The first two outspoken events went close to and in some cases well past midnight.
Okay.
And so we're trying to condense it a little bit. Yeah. Because I think people were so hungry that they we didn't want to leave. It turned into a big party afterwards at 2+2.
Yes.
And so this time we're limiting the featured artist and opening up open mic.
Okay.
But I've had an outpouring of individuals on Facebook messaging saying, how do I sign up? To perform. And so that's interesting because I already have an open mic lineup.
Right.
And the event hasn't started yet. So I'm excited because other people are excited.
Right,
and I have individuals saying things like, the fact that you're putting on this event has inspired me to go out and write something.
Okay.
And that is the biggest compliment that that someone could give me.
Right.
That you could be an inspiration to someone else to have creative energy flow. So it's an exciting time. And we have a team of individuals that work together to make this happen. I have a committee that I could not do this without, and as well as a few sponsors, if it's okay for me to mention them.
Yes.
So one of our major sponsors, of course, is Massive Entertainment and Productions, as well as Martini's. Feel Line Records, who's the management for the reggae artist Rima, is one of our sponsors. Caribbean Community Theater is also another one of our sponsors, and many of our poets also, because of that creative energy, they act and they perform in other venues as well. And so and C&J Auto Care. So we are beginning to gain some momentum, gain some sponsors, and hopefully this is something that we will be able to that will grow into a staple, here. I want to start it here in St. Croix, and then the hope is that we can branch out and partner with individuals in St. Thomas and St. John and make it a territorial-wide thing, especially if we're going to do a slam.
Yes.
I would love the slam to be like a VI, thing.
Yes.
Like St. Croix versus St. Thomas.
Maybe. Or just the best of the best.
Yes, poets, yes. Alexis, is this your first time you're doing this, or you did it in the previous...
She probably did it before. I bet you've done it before.
Sorry. No, I'm gonna tell you. One of the things when you mentioned earlier about did you guys do you find that you guys have a lot of poets on the island? And I wanted to say you'll be surprised because there's a lot of sleepers. I'm gonna just take you back to a quick piece of history. Back in 2005, we created something called Vibes Poetic. At the time, there was this thing called the Culture Lounge in Fredericksburg, Culture Lounge.
Right, I heard about it. I heard about that too. Yes.
That was one of the roots of spurring poetry in the Virgin Islands.
Right.
Specifically on the spoken word. I would say in St. Thomas, and that took off from an inspiration from the Rock Lounge in St. Thomas. So St. Thomas been having poems, poetry, spoken word events and stuff like that. But we started back in 2005. It gained momentum. We went till somewhere around 2007, and we just started backing off of it a little bit. And there was a lot of people that was like, yeah, it started to build. So I have no doubt in the fact that this will be huge. We did also Neo Soul. You remember Neo Soul? And that was huge.
Yes.
That was huge. So we know that Outspoken is going to be one of those kind of big things in the Virgin Islands. Yeah.
Okay.
Particularly on St. Croix.
Right.
People are hungry for that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
and too, with the kind of the element, the air, what's going on in the earth right now in world government and our local government and everything as locally, just like seeing, I say people just out of whack, so just need something now to get them back grounded and come back down to reality. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing.
And another thing with poetry is that a lot of times what inspires it is extremism. So whether it be extreme joy or extreme sadness or frustration. And so with everything that's going on politically, with everything that's going on in the Virgin Islands economically, this is a time when people have heightened emotions
Yes,
about a lot of
for
different
sure.
conditions.
For sure.
And so having an outlet for that, and a positive one at that, I think is only something that could help. It certainly couldn't hurt,
Right,
having
yeah.
an outlet. And so I am really hopeful as far as the outcome tomorrow, and the participation. I'm hoping that a lot of young men come out, and they.
Is it mainly women that come, or is it kind of balanced?
No, it's a really great mix.
Okay.
I have 3 male featured artists and 2 female, but I always say I have a young male, my son, and I feel like more than any other population, our young black males in the community need outlets. They need outlets, and so it is a mixed crowd, definitely. But I'm just hoping that our males come out and they take an opportunity to express themselves in a way that's positive, because it's freeing. It's freeing when you do that.
Yes.
Free expression
Yes.
of yourself. Yeah.
And it release something too, and makes
Yes.
you feel free.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Alrighty, so it's about 8:30, 8:32. Are you okay, or
I'm okay for a few more minutes.
Okay.
I'm having a lot of fun.
you're having a lot of fun? Okay, man. She's just signed the dotted line for 2 more hours. Great. So, as you're a poet, we have to ask you to spit a few words, something fresh off the top of the dome here that no one's heard before.
Oh, wow.
We got to have the exclusive. We got to have the
wow.
exclusive. So I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I was already going to do this to you.
Oh, wow. So premeditated, right?
We just need something off the top. Just express, Need a few minutes.
Yeah, I really am put on the spot right now. Let's see.
Okay, well then do.
I've never
When you're put on the spot,
ever.
take up the spotlight.
Oh, I like that. But no,
Okay, well maybe something that you've
that's
done
tough.
before.
That's tough.
Something you've done before.
I can share something that I've done before, because that makes me a little less nervous.
Yes.
I
You
wasn't
do that.
nervous until you just did that.
Okay, you can do something you've penned before.
Okay, I'll share a poem that I wrote probably almost 20 years ago now. I was a college student. I went to an HBCU and in search of the black experience, that I saw on television, because that was my only idea of college, was the TV show. You remember It's a Different World?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I watched that and I thought, oh, I want to experience that. And so I went to an HBCU, and coming from the Virgin Islands, I spoke differently, I dressed differently, I had natural hair back then. Now natural hair is kind of like, it's back in style again.
Yes.
But back then it was not. And so I was a little bit of an outcast in that sense. And, I wore my African fabric, outfits and skirts, and people looked at me like I was crazy. And I wondered, where's the blackness at this black institution, right?
Hot.
Where's the
Red
blackness?
hot.
I was really disappointed. And so I penned some of that frustration in a poem called It's Like That.
Okay.
It amuses me how people expend their precious time and energy into scurrying around, probing for means and ways by which to define me. Unsatisfied with your own existence, are we? I question the oh so humble souls who quietly ask questions like, take your pick. Why does she act like that, dress like that, talk like that? And my personal favorite, wear her hair like that? Brothers, sisters, since when has black been under racial attack? And not by hidden faces under white pointed sheets or crooked politicians who beat the streets selling guns, crack, and cocaine wholesale for the dimes while my brothers go to jail for the crime. No, black is under attack by a silent yet cunning criminal that comes with little warning. Creep up behind you in the barrel and haul your straight back in. Under attack by a predator that detests its own skin. Keep all 3 eyes open, because that enemy might look like your friend. All right, I drew a blank just now. But that was a taste. That was a taste.
Okay, you just kind of ended abruptly.
I know. You were just getting into it.
Yes, I.
Alexis, you wanna.
Says no.
He says no. Okay. I could surely understand that. I could
No,
surely.
it is not that. It's that I'm one of those type of poets. I don't commit nothing to memory.
Okay.
I read, I write, and then I just read.
Yes, I.
You know, so that's my style. I prefer to just kind of come off that way. But yeah. So if people want to hear me though, they gotta come tomorrow. And Kim said 7:00, right?
Yes.
Actually, be there for 6. Come join the cocktail hour.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So why don't you run through that whole time and where and what?
Absolutely.
You run through it real good, details of the whole 9 yards.
All right. So I am formally inviting everyone to come out and share and participate with us at Outspoken, a spoken word event. It's going to be held on Thursday, April 23rd at Martini's on St. Croix in Christiansted. It's cocktail hour, starts at 6 p.m. And the show will start at 7 p.m. sharp. And we're planning to go till about 10 o'clock, but if the mood hits us, we may be there until we may be just free about that.
Right.
Until 1:30.
I don't know. But and again, Outspoken is a fusion of poetry, jazz music, art, dance, singing. So we're going to have lots of surprises in store for you guys. And it is definitely a night of adult entertainment. We have 2 segments. And it's a intellectual / political segment, and then we have the more sensual, erotic part of the evening. And so you get a little taste of all types of genres during the evening. So it's going to be definitely entertaining.
When you say political, you're talking about political poetry? Is that how you...
Intellectual or political?
Cool.
Yeah.
Poetry? Okay.
Poetry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's sort of the themes for the 2 sections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're holding it at a wine bar, and so if you don't grab a drink during our cocktail hour, definitely by the time we get to the sensual, erotic part of the evening, you're going to want to have a glass or 2 nearby.
Okay.
Because it does get interesting.
All right.
Very interesting.
Okay. Alrighty, our guests tonight, Kim Jerome and Alexis George here. They're talking about Outspoken event that's going to be happening tomorrow night on St. Croix, here in St. Croix, Virgin Islands. Get on that flight and come down real quick, or else you're going to miss it.
Yes.
Want to thank you guys. Is there anything else that you guys want to mention? We always have to ask that. We're not professional talk show hosts, so we have to ask. Is there anything that you guys want to say that maybe we didn't ask you, that you just had on your mind? Anything?
I'm going to say, if you're on the island of St. Croix and you have any type of love for any of the arts, you need to come on down and support us.
Yes, sir.
That's all. It's going to be phenomenal. Poetry has this vibe that just seems to draw people in, and people don't want to leave.
Yes.
So if you want to be a part of something very special, a great experience, come join us tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Yes,
Well
sir.
said. Well said.
Thank you both. Thank you both for coming in and gracing us, and I'm wishing much success in what you all doing, and keep up the good work. Because I said, at a time, a point in need where our lives is really calling for that spiritual, that soul healing. That, you know what I mean?
The release.
Yeah. So.
Just letting you know.
Absolutely.
I hope I'll go see you guys there, right?
Yeah.
All right.
You're going to be working.
Yeah. No, this ain't time for work, man. Y'all come in and y'all go.
You never know.
At least, Soup, you gotta come spit that poem right there.
I know. Yeah, that was
that's a
really,
powerful
really
piece.
powerful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's the thought, man. There's everybody that hears is like, that's deep. And he's been saying that every night.
And then you can come out and hear the rest of my poem. It's like that.
Yes,
Okay,
man.
So I want to thank you guys for coming out. I know you got to run and continue on, but Soup, you got any final words?
Much success, Jagay, Rastafari live, one perfect love.
Yeah, man, we like to say one perfect love is our prayers and his blessings. When you put it all together, you get one perfect love. We're out, and we'll see you guys again. Peace.
Thank you.